What's up, guys? Exley's on the NFL. Tony, Green Bay Packers fan, and Stephen, Philadelphia Eagles fan. We're just going to do a little recap of the season with some crazy things that have happened throughout the season. Do you want to go straight into it, Steve? Do you want to take away, as you've done most of the work this week?
I mean, I think one of the biggest and funniest thing is like the QB re-signings at the end of last season went crazy. Some questionable decisions were made with a couple of them.
Yeah, looking at Dak Prescott, he got a new contract.
Yeah, like 250 million. Trevor Lawrence got a new one for like 255.
Yeah, I was literally just going to say Dak Prescott, massive contract. He was out most of the season.
I think he played 3 weeks, maybe 4.
Yeah, something like that. Then Trevor Lawrence, exactly the same thing, got taken out with he did go out with CTE, didn't he? After that big hit.
I think he did, yeah, but he did go back in at the season, I believe.
I don't remember if he went back in.
I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure at some point he did go back in and play. I don't know how many games he played.
They extended Trevor Lawrence for 5 years, $275 million, them to finish 4-13. It was a waste of fucking money, mate.
I mean, it was the biggest waste of money you could really ask for in a season. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Well, he's played a lot of games apparently.
Has he? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm literally on ESPN now, and I mean, it's claiming he made 2,045 yards this season.
Oh, he must have gone back in then. The Jags were so impactful this season that he got taken out, and I didn't even realise he came back.
Yeah, he played 10 games.
Fucking Jags.
So, yeah, I mean, I think another funny thing is, did you see the videos Dak Prescott claiming he's as good, if not better, than the Eagles?
Yes, I did. I did see that.
Which
his earbud.
Which is ironic because when you consider they haven't made a Super Bowl or haven't won a Super Bowl since '95.
He reckons that they are going to be Super Bowl champions coming into the new season.
Yeah, but he said they were going to be Super Bowl champions this year.
And the year before.
Blows himself up every year. He can't play in the playoffs.
No, he's a choke artist.
I mean, you can say what you want about the Packers being blown out by the Eagles this year. We've had a really good team this year, but the Packers blew them out last year.
Yeah, exactly. And they didn't even make the playoffs.
No. And the Jags were nowhere near. I think they were like 4th or something from the bottom of the leagues. If you look at the league standings, I'm sure they were like 28th or something.
I'm looking at the AFC South. 4-13 was their
20th they finished in the league. The Cowboys weren't far behind.
So all them fans that are now going to be jumping on and saying that we're Cowboy bashing, show me next season that the Cowboys are good, and I might actually.
The Cowboys play good. I will say they play good.
Yeah, when they play good, they play good. When they don't, they fuck it up completely.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest problem with the Cowboys is even if they get to the playoffs, they seem to shoot themselves in the foot. They don't seem to make it past the divisional round.
No, they never can seem to get to the next stage in.
Occasionally they pass wild card, but they usually blow themselves up divisional.
Yeah. When you're looking at the wild card, their divisional teams are the Eagles and Commanders, and if they had to face either of them two teams in the wild card round this season, they weren't going anywhere. Maybe against the Giants.
Yeah, but I mean, the Giants weren't any better. They were, I think they were worse than the Jags.
Yeah.
Or the
Cowboys were 7-10. The Giants were 3-14. To go for a season and only win 3 games.
Yeah, I mean the Giants.
Even the Bears done better than they did. So
yeah, I do kind of feel sorry for both fan bases because they root for these teams and they've just been let down, especially the Jags. The Jags have had it bad the last couple of seasons.
Yeah. But if you look at how the season started, the teams that were top when it when the season first started.
I mean, if you look at it up to like week 3, and there was such a different view on how the league was looking. The Saints were at the top at the start of the season.
Yeah, Saints. Fuck. Oh man, I can't even remember. I can't even go back and look at it.
I think the Niners were looking good at the start of the season.
Yeah, I'm sure the Niners came in looking hot. Saints came in.
It was looking good. The Raiders didn't look bad.
No, and then everything just
went to shit.
Yeah, I think it's more like you get that you lose a game and they're like, we need to win this game, but they put so much pressure on themselves that they need to win the game. Then fucking themselves up even more. And the teams that played so bad last season, Eagles, made all the right moves, made all the right changes.
And then you look at it up to our we had the early bye week 5. Up to that, we were 2-2.
A bye,
1-10 in a row.
Yeah, exactly. You come back off that bye and you're a different bird.
It was the same for a few teams, I think. Because once it got to a certain point and everyone's like, right, we want to make the playoffs. Everyone's like, right, we've not done bad, but we really need to lock in. Some other teams, it was just like they'd given up on any hopes of the playoff.
But then on the flip side of that, you look at the Lions. They had a 15-2 season, played outstanding the whole season, no doubt about it. Every game, bar 2, they went in there like decimating the opponents, running backs, wide receivers. They got so good. They were doing trick plays, the fake fumble.
And they had the like 3 or 4 attempts to get one of their big linemen a touchdown and stuff, a throwing touchdown and stuff. Like, that's how well the Lions were playing. They could just do what they wanted.
Yeah.
And then just got decimated in the
playoffs come and they get fudged up by... Who did they play in the playoffs? I don't remember.
They played the Commanders in the divisional round.
Yes, they did. I was just about to say the Commanders. And you look at the Commanders with a rookie QB.
Yeah, they've had to reload quite a bit on their team.
Yeah, and they ended on 12-5.
New head coach.
It
was a whole new team, basically, this year. From how you look at it last year to this year, it was like a whole new team, essentially.
If you'd have said to me the end of last season, Commanders are going to be Super Bowl contenders, obviously they didn't get to the Super Bowl. Yeah, I would have been like, not a chance. Definitely not going to happen.
I wouldn't have even said they had a chance at the playoffs after last season.
No. And then they finished the season 12-5. Jaden Daniels led the Commanders to the NFC Championship. He fell
they got beaten by the Birds. They got kind of destroyed in the end. But until that point, at least until halftime in the championship game, they were putting up one hell of a fight all season.
Yeah, definitely. You can't fault the skills or the knowledge of the game.
You look at that against the Bears. That was looking like a literal fail of a game. They were going to lose that game until Jaden Daniels put up one hell of a Hail Mary throw last few seconds of the game, which nobody thought was going to land. But thanks to the cornerback on the Bears pissing about, taunting fans and stuff, they thankfully had a receiver in the end zone and stuff.
Yeah, I watched.
Tipped one. It bounced off one receiver and bounced. Yeah, that was just like, that was literally a Hail Mary throw. It's like, you've got a few seconds, you wouldn't even be able to run up the field again. Just dump it and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. And then you look at the Niners. They come into the season having lost the Super Bowl. They have got such a loaded team.
They brought loads of their stars back, and they should have been contenders again.
Yeah, because if there's one team I would say is a good-looking team year round, through and through, it's the Niners.
Niners just always seem to have this. They don't necessarily have like the biggest players, so to speak, but they've got a good team overall. Like their team seems to always gel well year on year for the last few years, and just keep making runs.
That didn't go too well
this year. I mean, they did lose. What was Nobed's phase? He kicked off, didn't he, about not having a big contract and stuff, and then got taken out in like week 3 or 4.
Deebo Samuel?
Oh,
Brandon. Yeah. I'm sure I just seen something. Yeah, Brandon Oak signed an extension with the 49ers in week 17. Tore his ACL and MCL. He finished the season with 25 receptions for 374. Did I not say week 7?
You said 17.
Oh, yeah, week 7. Week 7, tore his ACL and MCL. That's a lot of fucking tearing. Yeah,
It is.
374 yards. That's terrible.
Seven games, and you're supposedly the star receiver, and you've got 374 yards. Even if you just pulled that 6 games, 374 yards for 6 games, and you're supposedly the star receiver, you kicked off at the start of the season for a big contract, wouldn't go to training camp until you had your contract, and that's all you got in say 6 games.
Yeah, we'll see if the Niners have got to bring him back, I suppose, unless they do a cheeky and work something out and get rid of him.
I think they've got 2 choices, haven't they? Bring him back, see how he goes, or trade him off, get draft capital or another player or something.
Yeah. So the Lions, Niners, and Cowboys.
I think an interesting one though was Belichick going to college.
Literally just going to say that. Did you see him at, I think it was the NFL Awards, with all of his Super Bowl rings on? And his girlfriend was wearing one as well, I think. How many Super Bowl rings has he got? 8?
I think he's got 8 because I think he got 6 with Brady, and I think he managed to get 2 before Brady.
Maybe. I can't even look it up.
He got at least 1 outside of Brady, so he's got at least 7.
There was talks of him leaving. Well, he left, didn't he? He left the Patriots and was just sort of floating around looking for a job. And it just seemed to be week after week after week, we had something to say about Bill Belichick. And then he's in college now and he still pops up.
Yeah.
Get on with your college shit, man.
I think the problem is, and the reason he keeps popping up, is the college season hasn't started still. It's close to starting almost as the NFL. It's not. It's still a way to go, so it's not gonna.
Yeah, I know.
And the trouble is with Belichick, if he wants to get out of that contract, it's like 10 million before June.
That's his fucking lunch money. That's nothing to him, really, is it?
It isn't, but that's still 10 million. To have signed a contract and then say you're not going into it, you've got to have a good contract lined up.
Yeah, you've got to be sure that the team is going to take you on and provide you with an income.
Yeah, I mean, if you leave after that, if you haven't got a job lined up, you're not leaving at that point. Let's be honest. I know it goes down a lot, but if you haven't already got a team lined up by June, you're not leaving that late in the season. Otherwise, there's nobody who can take you on that late.
He's 78, I think.
Something like that. He's not young.
There can't be many more years of him coaching left in the nicest way possible. Like, when do you retire? Is what I'm saying.
I mean, I would have thought now, to be honest, before signing that big contract. But
he's got all the money. He's got all the rings. He's not going to get another ring.
72.
72, yeah. Retire. While we're on the subject of firings, Robert Saleh fired from the Jets.
That was ridiculous.
And the Jets are still 5-12. I don't think it was Big Rob.
No, that was was it October? Yeah, and they were blaming on his bad coaching and what have you, and they did not improve. They won like 2 games after he went. Everyone was suspicious and like saying that Rodgers had a hand in it and wanted him gone. And I think that's funny because if that is true, that makes it funnier because he has now been let go by the Jets.
I was literally just about to say that. Yeah.
How ridiculous would that have been if that was the case?
Yeah, and I've also heard, I don't know how true it is, that Devontae Adams is actually being released as well.
I'm not surprised. I think he was only up that he was due to be up for free agency, I think, this year anyway.
Yeah, I don't think he got a contract.
I don't think they wanted him to stay. He literally went there because Rodgers was there. I think some of the other people that so to speak, speaking of Belichick retiring, need to retire. Rodgers at this point, surely.
It's in the stars that Aaron Rodgers is going to follow Brett Favre's.
I've seen that.
His
trajectory of
Green Bay, Jets, Vikings. I don't think that the Vikings are going to take him because they've got JJ McCarthy.
Well, they could still franchise Sam Darnold as well.
They could still franchise tag him, but I'm pretty sure they're letting him go. I mean, I think they're letting him go.
I mean, the only real value Rodgers has, if you ask me, to this league now is passing on knowledge and being QB2. He would be a great backup in an emergency. But I mean, if anything, everyone was saying, "Oh, he had his first season with the Jets cut short because of his Achilles." Blah blah blah. He came back, played this whole season, 5 games.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look it up now.
And he got loads of his friends to come to the Jets.
He still had. It's unbelievable, right? But he still had a sick. Oh, he's not even on there. They've taken him off already. Come on, Google. This is really weird. Typing on a keyboard sideways.
Yeah.
Statistic. He had a. Right, so they came. What they get? 5 wins, 11 losses. He had 3,897 yards this year, a completion rating of 63%, 28 touchdowns, and only 11 interceptions.
I mean, that's pretty good numbers.
It's good numbers. It's still really good numbers, but not necessarily all of it is his fault, is what I'm saying.
No, I'm not blaming him for all of it in Jets territory. I mean, they've been notoriously bad. But even if you look at the last few seasons for him in Green Bay, if you just look at his last 5 seasons, say, in playoff seasons.
He was
Do you know what I mean? Like, at this point, unless you took him out and put him in, say, Eagles, Lions, Vikings, someone that's got really good offense, he's not doing much.
Why is it? So, Aaron Rodgers, here's the only thing you can only look at this year's stats for him for some reason. Pro Football Reference and on Jets' website.
I mean, Jets don't want to say much about him, let's be honest.
So, in his career, this is the only other thing I can find. In his career, he's had 62,952 passing yards with a yard average of 7.6. 503 touchdowns, 116 interceptions.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to ESPN, ESPN goes back to 2005. So what are we looking at? Yeah, I mean, go back. If you take out 2023, he's played a full season of every game since 2018.
It's mad.
And Green Bay let him go for a reason.
Yeah, he was underperforming, he was overhyped, and Green Bay needed to make a change. We made the change to Jordan Love, and
it's been
so far so good. So far so good. We're doing well. We have done well, should I say, now that the season's over.
I saw a guy come in the shop with a Green Bay hat.
Did you?
Yeah, I think at this point, Rodgers is just living off of his reputation from yesteryear.
Yesteryear, definitely. Odell Beckham Jr. needs to retire.
Oh, 100%. Should have retired 2 years ago.
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek either needs to retire or shut up.
Pull his shit together.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
He's on about, like, he's all over bloody social media at the moment because he's trying to race some guy. Prove who's the fastest. Mate, Xavier Worthy put up the fastest ever combine speed.
He's
clearly not the fastest.
Yeah. And I think, I can't even remember who the guy is that he says he's going to race. The guy does that for a living.
Yeah.
If he beats you in a running race, fair dues. Get him on a field, get him to run the routes, catch the ball while he's running the routes. It's the same thing. He could say, I'm the fastest man alive, Tyreek Hill, come and race me. And this guy could beat him.
Yeah.
But Tyreek could say, I'm the fastest NFL player. He's not. Taylor Worthy is. Xavier Worthy is the fastest receiver at the moment. Tyreek Hill could say, come and do what I do. And Tyreek could beat him. It's not an even match.
No,
they don't both do the same sport.
It's not. It's ridiculous. I mean, let's be honest. Tyreek hasn't been recorded as the fastest in the NFL, I don't think, in this last season. Let's have a look. So 22.1 he was clocked at. DK Metcalf 22.23. Chase Brown 22.05. So I mean, Tyreek claiming he's the fastest. DK Metcalf's been clocked faster. Chase Brown's been clocked faster. Chase Brown's a running back.
There we have it, boys and girls. Tyreek Hill is not really the fastest.
So I mean, you can
NFL
say what you
player.
want.
He's the fastest father figure, if you like.
So producing kids.
I would like to mention we're not on retiring now. The Jags have brought Lewis Reese Zammit as their wide receiver.
Yeah, they finally brought him into the active roster.
That's good for us over here, if you like.
It's more representation, isn't it?
I thought it was really good when he got onto the Chiefs, because the Chiefs have got the big name and they played him for... I don't think they even played him for a full game, if I remember.
I'm not 100% sure. I was trying to find something on it the other day, and there wasn't really...
I think he briefly played, not very much, if that makes sense. See if I can find...
I mean, it's not even showing him as having any stats for 2024. I'm sure he ran through at some point.
He did play. Google.
Yeah, I mean, ESPN aren't even showing any stats for him.
Here we go, NFL.com. Where's my mouse gone? Stats summary. Recent games, 0, 0, 0. Career. He has no career.
Yeah, nobody's recorded anything for him.
No. He definitely played for the Chiefs, maybe a couple of drives or one game, I don't know.
He was definitely in for one game. He was activated. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, 100%. Let me see if Bougie.
Because the Chiefs were even considering him as running back through camp.
Yeah.
I remember talk about it. Because he had ridiculous speed for a
rugby player. For someone. Yeah. But when you
compared him to NFL players, he had ridiculous speed.
I think his rugby speed was up there with the top NFL speeds.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he was top 10, but he was like top 20, I would have said. There was a big fuss about it because of how fast he was.
No, I can't find it. It's like anything he done on the Chiefs has disappeared.
Yeah, but I remember the Chiefs letting him go. I'm 100% sure that was because they were desperate for big names, big playmakers, because they wanted the 3-peat.
Yeah.
And they didn't have the space for him on the roster if they wanted these big playmakers in. They didn't want someone that they would have to coach up all season, possibly make some plays at the end of the season. This
is the thing, isn't it? What the hell was that? Was that your phone?
Yeah.
They brought him over from the international player pathway, and he's never played in the NFL. He's done the IPP. They brought him over to the Chiefs, expected him to be game ready all the time. He should have gone practice squad and only been used in practice. This is what the Jags have done, I think.
I think
given
what the Jags have done has been the better way, really. They signed him halfway through the year, they left him on the practice squad, get some reps in, get some practice with the B team, get the skills of the sport down before you start them in the big game. Give him a chance to build up. And then next season, all the way through training camp, he'll get even more practice. Then the preseason games, he'll get more practice. So there's so much practice before he's actually playing in a big game.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I want to say about the IPP thing is it can work. I mean, one of the biggest success stories from it is Jordan Mailata.
Yeah,
came
100%.
from rugby, never played NFL, had never even watched it, I don't believe, before.
Yeah.
And then the Eagles take him, and he's now one of, if not the highest left tackle in the league.
What more can you want? Won a Super Bowl ring? Got 2? Got 1?
1.
Not sure. 1. Yeah, that's it. IPP works, and I think the international players should come over more. I think that's what the NFL Academy does, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if I remember rightly, every team has one spot outside of the main roster for one IPP player all season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, like, they don't have to... They can take one, but not have to drop someone to take an IPP player.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think you're right. I remember we talked about that earlier on in the season.
Yeah. I think one of the interesting ones is going to be Steelers and their QB situation.
Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. Who's it going to be?
Personally, I think Justin Fields.
It should be Justin Fields.
He's younger, faster, has got the legs for the game. I mean, they've literally brought him in to use his legs during the season, and would probably be cheaper.
They've just switched between the two and used Russell Wilson as their main guy, and when he can't do the stuff that Justin Fields can do.
I also don't think it's fair. I think if I remember rightly, he went 4-2 in his game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. He played so much better than Russell Wilson did.
And then just instantly lost the job. There was no... They were like,
I think, if I remember, Russell Wilson was out with an injury. They put Justin Fields in. Yeah, put Justin Fields in, and as soon as Russell Wilson was better, they done the old switch.
And then just sidelined him for the season.
Yeah.
Which was bollocks, really. He was playing really well, much better than he was in Chicago.
Lights out.
And
Lights out.
They just
It's the same thing that we say every time. A new franchise, a better fit for that.
Yeah. And I think it would be stupid if they don't at least consider bringing him back.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to look at who's going to be a free agent QB, who's in the draft. There's talks of pretty much everyone skipping the QBs from this draft.
I have heard that.
Anyone
the draft
do take is going to be more of a development piece.
Yeah.
It's not going to be anyone looking to start this season.
I'm a believer in the quarterback. Anybody coming in from the draft should be a development piece anyway.
Yeah, I mean, some teams do get in the situation where it's
desperate need.
Yeah. Denver was one.
Worked out well for the
Washington. Panthers were. I think the Panthers went around it the wrong way because, I mean, if you look at the later half of the season, Bryce Young's really come on.
Yeah, he played amazing for them the later part of the season.
And I think the Bears were quite desperate for one. I think they put him in too fast. I think they should have maybe signed a free agent, half-decent QB, put him in, accepted there's going to be some losses, but you get your star later on who's ready to play better.
Yeah. Yeah, they threw him in at the deep end and just went, well,
you're supposed to be the star player, go out and prove it.
Yeah.
That was kind of essentially what they did. But it only works out sometimes.
It's not going to work every time. And it can't work every time.
I mean, even if you look at the Commanders, they still took 5 losses.
Yeah.
Where did Denver end up?
Broncos just...
They were close to getting on the playoffs. Did they make the playoffs? I don't think they did they?
I can't remember. It's been so long ago. Denver Broncos...
10-7. They made the playoffs.
Yes, they did. They were the last... I think they were the last team to get into the playoffs.
Did they go out in the first round? Yeah. So, yeah, even then, they lost 7 games. So it doesn't always work. What it does show is that they've got a good future, hopefully, next season.
Yeah, hopefully. I don't have anything else. How about you? Are you done? Romeo done?
Yeah, pretty much, I think.
That's cool, because my light feels like it's giving me sunburn today.
One more thing I do want to mention. Garrett Wilson's catch.
Yes, I was just trying to look at the video for that.
That was ridiculous.
Garrett Wilson.
He looked like when you see
the Jumpman. He was the Jumpman logo. I've watched it about, I don't know, it must be a dozen times or more.
I think everyone's watched it a dozen times, to be honest. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, he's a Jumpman logo. And that was sick.
It was so close to being out the end zone. They had to review it multiple times to make sure he wasn't. That was such a spectacular one-handed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think he could have gone any further back without landing on his ass and out the end zone.
Definitely not. On that note, if anyone wants to edit our fucking videos for us, let me know, because sometimes I'm just like, oh, we should have put a clip of that video that we're talking about in, and I don't have the time to edit them all the time. That's why they're so chippy choppy sometimes. I don't know. You want to edit our videos for us, please? Definitely. We make absolutely fucking no money on any of this, so we use the basic of everything, and it's fucking hard. Anyway, that's it from me. Yeah? Cool. We will see you probably, maybe, in the next one.